Hello, this is Ron with Rising Sun Properties. Today we're in Nara in Heguri. It's a city outside of Nara, about 30-minute drive, 45-minute train ride. Views are always great, seeing the Japanese scenery. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show the inspection report. So we always recommend getting an inspection. We facilitate that on your behalf. You just pay us for that in the end. And this is a good example of what can happen and what to expect on some of these homes. This particular client is ready for renovations. It's a 8.5 million yen, 60,000 USD, 3 LDK, 110 square meter wooden home. And for this location, especially, this home is a great value because, again, the value is mostly in the land here in Japan. So this home, if you're wanting to tear it down and rebuild, it's a great area for the price. All the land value is way over what the asking price is. This particular client is not interested in tearing down and rebuilding, so they are looking for a fixer-upper. And what I saw, firsthand, it did look like there were quite a few problems. Again, I'm not the expert, and we always get the inspector in. And at the end of this video, I'll go through the English summary as well as the full inspection from Sakura, who's the company we work with. They give a full and thorough inspection, and you'll see there are quite a few issues with this home that probably does not make it ideal to move forward with, even if you're looking for renovation. It's had quite a few structural issues and just wasn't worth the retrofitting to make it work. But here's the home. Walk around the outside. You do have some room for the neighbors for Japanese standards with a bit of a yard area. Walking into the home, there was no electricity in this home, so there's no lights. Thankfully, I got there when there's plenty of sunlight. And you'll see there's plenty of issues. There's a mosquito trying to hunt me. Here's the Genkan. Near the Genkan even, the entranceway on the door, there was a lot of water damage and maybe even termite damage. You can see down here. So basically, if you did buy a home like this, you would need to renovate pretty much the entire thing, which is going to be an overhead cost, of course. So always keep that in mind. If you can stretch your budget and get something newer in better condition, I always recommend it. However, we do have clients that are wanting to get into the renovations and they have experience, background, know what they're getting into. Of course, that's completely fine. Here is the washroom and bath and a place for your washing machine there. Older style bath, not too large. You can see some of the colors are dated. I think this home was built in 1986. I'm not sure if I put that in the description. Some storage underneath the stairs. It says 2 stories. Here's the toilet. Kind of older style. That would probably want to be upgraded. Baby pink on the walls. Here's a look into the kitchen, living dining area. You can see the doors are a little bit weird. The inspection did show there was quite a bit of leaning. You can see that door's not wanting to open all the way. It is wood, so things can warp a bit, but the inspection did show it was kind of over the threshold of what you would want to have in a home, and you'll see why. Some of the floor, the cover is coming off there. Again, just a lot of wear and tear from the previous owner. Nothing had been cleaned up or renovated. It's sold as is. Quite a bit of wear and tear on the home. We do have contacts here to not only help with the post-sale stuff for utility management and taxes and insurance, things like that, but also to help with renovations as well. So if you're wanting to do some renovations, we have some contacts we can introduce to you that speak English and help manage that project. A lot of discoloration, maybe smoking in the home. Seems like it's been abandoned for quite some time. But a larger home, plenty of space down here in the living dining area. Lots of cleaning to do. Here's a hole for the air con. It's not even plugged in, so it's just open to the outside air. Damages on doors. The doorways, I don't think I did a check, but the doorways were, hitting my head, so not super tall. Does have a yard garden, would probably look a lot better once you did some landscaping. And keep that in mind if you're buying a home here in Japan as a second home. You definitely want to keep up the landscaping. The neighbors would greatly appreciate that, of course. If you buy an apartment, you don't have to deal with those things, but buying an apartment means you have monthly management fees as well as reserves for repairs, and that would be an extra monthly cost that would be there for the lifetime of the property. That price can range from $200 to $500-$600 a month, so definitely something to keep in mind when you're purchasing and trying to decide on a detached home or a condo apartment. Full walk around the house, and now to the second floor. There's a balcony up here. On the balcony you can see quite a bit of cracking and some water damage on the ceilings. Older style Western room, I guess, if you will. There is no tatami in this room. Walk-in closet. Always checking the corners of the ceilings, detect any water damage. If there is water damage, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes if it's just one or two spots, that can be fixed for as little as $1,000 or $2,000. However, if you need to replace the entire roof, of course that's going to be a lot more. Upwards to, it could be $10,000. Look down the hallway. And there's some water damage, which is in the middle of the roof. Middle of the ceiling. So that's not great. Usually it's on the edges. So if it's in the middle, that means there might be, more severe water leakage from the roof. The tatami, the floor seemed a little bit soft, not super sturdy. I always jump around and try to find soft spots. This home didn't feel super solid. Checking, there's cracking going on, which is quite common. Maybe some discoloration around there. It's hard to tell if that's just from humidity or actual water damage. But I always do my best to do a full inspection myself to see if I can uncover anything. I am on site for most of our inspections, so I've learned a lot from the inspector, what he's looking at, what he's looking for, get feedback from them immediately. And of course that helps me when I'm doing these viewings on my own. Checking out the roof, doesn't look too bad. Those styles of roofs are, made to last, so they should be good for 40 years, 50 years. And if they need repaired, it shouldn't be too much if it's just one or two spots. So sorry, maybe not the greatest videos. I viewed several properties this day. I think it was 4 or 5, so time was of the essence. But still doing my best to document what I'm seeing and share it with you guys. Thanks for all the great feedback. It sounds like everyone is gaining a lot of insight to purchasing here in Japan, and that is the goal of these videos, to kind of give you a firsthand view of what's going on, what I'm seeing. We are a licensed real estate agent, so if you are interested in purchasing or have any questions, please do reach out on WhatsApp or email. WhatsApp's easier, I can just get back to you. Even if you have just a couple of properties you want me to look at and give some quick feedback, I'm happy to do that, no problem. If you do want to sign up with our services, I'll give you all the details for prices and what that includes. The look on the balcony, you see quite a bit of cracking. Looks like it has been repaired a little bit. What I didn't view, which the inspection report will view, is what was going on underneath the house, and it's quite substantial. See, I didn't even take my shoes off in this home. I usually do, but this home was pretty old and dirty, so if it's in this condition, I don't. I've been in Japan, it's been 12 years now. Just the other day, I hit my 12-year mark, and I'm basically half Japanese culturally at this point. But I've worn my shoes in this home, so don't tell anybody. You see some cracks going on in the structure there. Pretty common for this age of home. But if it's too much, too many, or if they're, too wide of the cracks, that can obviously be a major issue, which it ended up being on this property. Here's some water damage here in the hallway. So, again, it's kind of more in the middle of the home, which isn't a great sign. And here's me jumping around looking for soft spots. I try to walk around on all parts of the floors to see if I can uncover anything. If there's anything major I'm feeling, I'll even try to get up underneath the tatami sometimes. And I've seen a lot of things out there. So getting a lot better at picking these things out myself before we even move forward with an intent to purchase. So here's the English summary. You can see there's water leakage, termite damage, structural tilting that goes past the threshold. 0.6% leaning is the threshold. This was going beyond that. The balcony, external walls, drainage, there's a lot of issues. Just overall, there's going to be problems, and we will give you the full summary just so you kind of know what it looks like. Here is the full Japanese report. As you can see, they're very detailed and give a very thorough investigation of what they found. We talk with them firsthand to get ideas about what's going on, but in the end, they always make this report and send it our way. They're checking for pipes and leaking, water damage, structural issues. These are issues, the red's outside, the blue's inside, and then also underneath the floor and also in the attic area. So he's pointing out issues with the water lines and cracking. There's a substantial crack there. They measure it, give us the feedback. And there was a lot for him to document. And you'll see underneath the foundation what the big issue is, and it's just completely tilted and needs to be retrofitted and just not worth moving forward with this property. Here he's taking pictures of showing the lean of the building. They use this the laser technology to do so. Checking piping. All that stuff would be needed to be renovated anyway. Here's the foundation, a lot of cracking, and you see the gaps there underneath the post. So that's a major issue that shows some tilting of the home. And here he's doing a moisture investigation. So he's got a tool there to show the moisture in the wood, and with just a lot of issues. So if you're going to buy a home like this, it would be best to completely tear it down and rebuild. Again, this home, for the price and the land, was a great value. But if you're just wanting to buy the home and renovate it and use that home instead of tear down, which all of our clients are, this is probably not a good option. So that is the extent of this home in the report. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about anything related to buying here in Japan, please reach out. Thank you very much and have a great day.